I've heard different things just talking to just like amongst my friends and others I've encountered. And I think I don't think there's a hard limit on the number per se, but it does get very awkward when you're having somebody who's like in their 50s dating somebody like in their 20s or something like that. I mean, if they want to do that, then more power to them or whatever. But it's just you're gonna get a lot of side eyes from a lot of people when when you're walking into a you're that person's job who happens to be like a CEO or something of a firm or like a business, and you're dappered up on his arm or you're walking in with a suit and she's looking okay, she's looking fine, but she's also the CEO, and everybody's like, why is this young dude who's this young dude?
Why is her son? Why is her
Exactly.
son
And
coming
it's,
in?
so you get certain looks from certain people, but I mean, if you want to do it, by all means go for it, but just there's a limit to it. Like, not saying that you should be going around trying to date underage people, but if they're like 21 or older and they can have the ability to decide that for themselves, then yeah, by all means. I mean, if they're still living at their parents' house, then the parents probably going to have some say about that. But if they're out on their own or whatever, I mean, who's gonna stop them? You know what I mean? So
And when it comes to that, it's not a matter of stopping someone. It's a matter of approval. What I'm saying is, it's easy saying that when it's somebody else's kid,
but
but
that's what I'm
when it's
saying.
your son or daughter
Mhm.
in that situation, you don't see it the same way.
Right, but what I'm saying is, it's like if they're out on their own, usually 21, you're off in college doing, you're finding yourself, you're finding your own. You have the ability to make your own decisions at that point. But
Yes, you do.
if you're living under my roof, then I'm going to have a say in that decision. You know what I mean? But if you're out in college and you're making those decisions to go off and
You
do
still
whatever.
you think they're going to approve that because they're out there on their own?
I mean, by that time, the parents aren't going to really have a say because the kid is out on their own at 21.
They really don't have a say,
Hmm.
but they still got an opinion.
Yeah, they're going to have an opinion, but what I'm saying is it's going to be a stronger opinion if you're living under my roof. like, like
Yeah,
the opinion is going to be a lot stronger if you're still living under my roof and I'm providing room and board and food. So,
that's
but if you're
right.
on your
Absolutely.
own, it's just like, what can I say? So that's just how I look
Not
at it.
much. Not
Exactly.
much.
So
Not much. And if you do say it, are you alienating that person from the family? But and it shouldn't even be that way because you shouldn't expect someone to accept something that you really know is outside the norm.
mhm.
And when men make that decision to go younger, you expect that. You're gonna expect pushback. Absolutely. Everybody's not gonna agree with that.
Right. Exactly. And I guess when it comes to dating younger, there's kind of like, I guess it's, well, maybe it's a generational difference, but we'll start with one side and then we'll switch to the other.
Yeah.
As far as
Okay.
the males, like a lot of us, I would say I see it more in your generation than I see it in mine because we're not
What do you
established
mean by
there.
that?
I'm talking about dating younger.
Okay.
I'm talking about dating younger. I see it more in your generation
So
than I do in
everybody's
mine
got their own
because my
mindset.
generation isn't as established yet. There's some of us out there that are established, of course, but a lot of us are
Mhm.
getting to that established level. So I don't see a lot of us dating younger. Like, the age gap is not that big. Like, I think the most I've seen is maybe like 6 years between two
6 years.
people.
6
So
years is about the norm. Six
yeah,
to ten.
yeah. So it's like I'm not seeing anything ridiculous like 54 dating 22 or something, like, you know what I mean? So I can't really speak on that portion, but I can give some insight from what I've heard and like, my opinions on it. Um and I guess it goes to why. The first question would be why, and I would say some of it is because of that mature, like, here's one thing. A lot of older men they're typically more established, and they want a certain type of woman. So when you're younger, you aren't really you're still clay. You can be shaped however, as you get older. So I feel as though that is a reason, not the reason, but that is a reason some older people do date down younger as far as that big range, like 55 to 20 something, because they can still mold that young person to be
not damaged, undamaged.
That too. And they can mold that person to be how they want how they picture their significant other should be or whatever. So I think that is a big factor in that. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's so they can be taken care of when they're older. I just think it's more of a mental thing. Like they want to feel younger. Maybe I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs, but I do know that I feel like that the whole molding thing is a major factor in that, because they don't want to have to deal with somebody who's already headstrong and all this other stuff, and they're combating all the
Absolutely.
time. So yeah,
absolutely. And I see women, and I'm gonna go women and men. Usually, women who date younger, and I'm just saying, they're going through a transition. Their beauty, their vibrance is on the decline, just like men. Same thing for men. But men are, accumulating wealth, building a brand in a sense. And with that change, the women I'm saying this not in a negative light. The women in their transition, they are becoming more masculine.
mm-hmm.
They become more self-sufficient, more and not in a negative light, headstrong. Oh, I don't need. I can provide for myself, right? So then you got a younger man or younger woman who they're developing, they're coming up. So, and this is, I'm talking about both sides. So for a woman, she takes on the role of a man in a sense in the relationship. They don't want to admit that when they date younger, but that's what they're doing in a sense. They are assuming the role of the male. Usually they're more established. They got their things together. They make more. They bring more to the table than that young man. And like you said, they don't have all those issues. They don't have all that stuff going on. And then the young man approaches them with the mindset of saying, hey, my youth is my leverage to even get this woman. So, hey, I'm young, vibrant, older woman. I'm a gift to her. If I come after her, she's going to accept that more. That's not how it works when somebody of her own age. It's more in depth. It's more required. It's more, you got to play a certain role in that when it's the same age. But when somebody's young, look, I'm gonna shoot my shot. Hey, look, I got youth on my side. You got your emotional side that needs to be fulfilled. So that's what I get. So I'm more apt to take a chance. They wouldn't even take that chance with someone their own age, a young lady their own age. But they know this person is older. They're willing to go for that because they know they got youth on their side. You understand that, young man?
Well, I don't know why you asking me. You should be asking the people that are listening to this podcast. I told you I stay in my lane. I was like, nope.